We spent the day at Tech Talent North Toronto, which was organized by TAP Network that took place last month on October 24th. I sat down with many HR leaders in the Canadian tech space to talk to them about what they're thinking about and focusing on in their work. Here is what they had to say. Check it out.
Welcome back, everybody. So I'm Jeff Waldman, the host of the Unmuted podcast, and I'm here at the Metro Toronto Convention Center North. What is it? The North Tower, North, whatever. Anyway, downtown Toronto, October 24th for the Tech Talent Northeast Conference. Jaffer, how are you? Good. And we are doing some podcasts, some short little episodes here with HR leaders, talent leaders, practitioners, but also vendors as well. And so, yes, I am wearing my favorite scarf, which happens to be a Hibob scarf. If you want one, if you want one or a hat, DM me. So this is Emily Zukauskas. So Emily is part of the Hibob team in Canada. She's been a fantastic partner of mine over the years, and welcome, Emily. Thanks for being here. So you guys always sponsor this event, right? Yeah. And so obviously Hibob is my sort of favorite, HRIS platform. But I think there are several reasons for that. But I wanted to ask Emily just a couple of questions because she has a very good understanding of what's going on in the broader HR space, sort of tech space as well. So what's the overarching theme that you've noticed? I mean, obviously there's a lot going on. The pandemic has obviously, created havoc and a lot of changes and unknowns. But obviously you have a really good understanding of what's going on out there because, obviously talk to a lot of people. So what's the one thing that you're seeing that might be an overarching theme going into next year?
So we find that there's a lot of different topics that are cyclical when it comes to HR trends. So seasonality plays a big role in terms of what we hear about from clients and from the market. For example, towards the end of the year, people are always talking about performance reviews, compensation increases or changes, and then obviously looking forward to the next year for planning, both from a budgetary perspective, from a workforce or headcount perspective. If we think about towards the start of the year, it's always goal setting intent for the start of the year, and then there's little themes that happen throughout as well. But overarching, I would say the biggest concern or challenge that we're hearing from people that we're speaking with is the idea of consolidation. So how can they either do more with less, do more with what they already have, and maybe even scale back in terms of the systems that you're using? I think maybe pre-pandemic, everybody, times were good. People had lots of money to spend, lots of things to do, and maybe people went a little bit crazy with what they were buying. And I think a lot of companies are reflecting and really now looking at the tools that they're using and analyzing whether or not they're actually using those tools to their full potential and whether or not they actually need to have those things. So we're seeing a lot of scaling back and a lot of consolidation.
So that's a really good point. I mean, I think, well, first of all, that's a good thing, I think, in some way, because then it forces organizations like HR leaders to have to really take a strong look, a business lens as to what's really going on in terms of spend and output and value. But in terms of that, consolidation, there's a lot of heavy focus on ensuring that the tools, talk to each other, integrations. And I've been seeing that, for a long time, but I think, would you agree to that part of that exercise of, yeah?
Definitely. Yeah. So obviously especially when you have a tool that you really love, that is being used heavily across the company, then I think the goal around that is maybe to make sure that it does speak to the other systems that are also heavily used across maybe other teams and departments, because you want to have a great tool, but also alleviate any kind of administrative burden surrounding those tools.
So speaking of Bob, obviously Bob has, the platform itself has really evolved in the last couple of years. And of course, they've all been, awesome, new enhancements, new modules, tools, things like that. How does so going into next year, I mean, of course, I'm not asking you to talk about anything that's sort of private or not public knowledge, but, how does Bob play into that theme of, consolidation, giving back, greater value, integration, so on?
Yeah, so I think one thing that I love the most about Bob, and obviously this is maybe a biased answer, but
That's fine, no problem.
we really truly take our customer feedback to heart. So every year we release a product roadmap, and it's always built around what's missing in the platform or what improvements do our customers want to see. Especially as we continue to grow as a business, as we continue to grow up market, we're bringing on larger and larger clients as well. The needs change as well, depending on the type and the size of the client that you're working with. So I would say that's the first thing. We're always thinking about what do we need to do to make our platform better. So you'll see in the last couple of years, we've released new pieces of functionality. Our last big release was around workforce planning. That just received an enhancement around budgeting as well. The year before it was compensation. The year before that it was payroll hub, which is how we connect Bob to payroll systems. So that is a really big focus for us. And more and more you'll see, as you mentioned, the product is evolving and we're trying to incorporate as much functionality as we can so that we really are that one-stop shop.
Yeah.
But I'll caveat that with the fact that we also really believe in building everything in-house because, if you look at, and not to say that this is bad, it's just different schools of thought, but we believe that if we build it in-house, it's going to really be better than if we acquire a business and just create an integration. We want to make sure that when we release a module, it's really going to be a best-in-class solution for that specific topic.
And, that's actually a really important part. So I am not affiliated with Hibob other than I have a partnership with them. But obviously my entire 23-year career, I've been heavily involved in the tech space, HR tech. So I can honestly say that, obviously there have been a lot of acquisitions over the years. And those are done for various reasons. But in terms of acquiring a skill set or a product, and then kind of rolling that into a different product, that's not easy to do because they're both built differently. Probably, user experience is different. Security is different. Development platform is different. Employees are all used to a different thing. So it's not always better to just acquire just to get more market share. So I actually really appreciate that. Honestly, is that when they do invest the money to actually build it on their own. So you're here at the Tech Talent North conference, which is actually one of my favorite because it is heavily focused laser focused on the tech industry.
Yeah.
So what is your goal for being here?
So our biggest goal is, I guess, the purpose of the conference. It's a heavily content-focused conference, which we really like because it's how we keep up to date with market trends, what's important to the people that we're working closely with. So that's always first and foremost. And then obviously we want to build meaningful connections with people that either know us already. We like to further that relationship. And then we always like to meet new people who might be on the search for a new system, either now or maybe in the future at some point.
So, Emily, thank you for being here. And of course, for everybody out there, if you've never heard of Bob, it's hibob.com. Or if you want to get the skinny on them, just contact me. And we'll talk soon. Thank you.